If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him, is that within his official acts that for which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
He could, and why? Because he's doing it for personal reasons. And isn't that the nature of the allegations here? That he's not doing these acts in furtherance of an official responsibility. He's doing it for personal gain.
I agree with that characterization of the indictment, and that confirms immunity, because the characterization is that there's a series of official acts that were done for an unlawful.
No, because immunity says even if you did it for personal gain, we won't hold you responsible. How could that be?
That's an extremely strong doctrine in this court's case law in cases like Fitzgerald.
Well, we go back to Justice Thomas's question.
Yeah, and there's more jibber jabber like that. And it's similar to before this got to the Supreme Court, these sorts of conversations at the appeals court level. When someone asks you, should the president be legally allowed to murder their political rivals? There is only one correct answer, which is no, sorry. You could also say hell no, that would also be acceptable. Anything else you say, even if you cloak it in big time words, high dollar vocabulary, is utterly unacceptable.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the Damage Report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you.
And I see a lot of people, defending this immunity doctrine. People on Fox News that would tell you they're perfectly comfortable with absolute immunity. Jesse Waters saying this should not scare you. I wish I had the opportunity to ask Jesse Waters, can Joe Biden kill you? Can Joe Biden gun you down? He gets a flamethrower, he storms into the Fox News studios, and he sets you on fire. Can he do that and be legally protected? I would assume Jesse Waters does not believe that. I mean, I would assume that none of the people on Fox News or the larger right-wing media world actually believe that Joe Biden should have immunity to do literally anything. They just want the Supreme Court to come up with some way that Trump gets it. And even that is kind of an evasion, because at the end of the day, they don't need to do that. They don't need to give Trump immunity, even though there's been some signs in the Supreme Court argumentation that implies that they might be willing to do some version of that. They just need to waste time. And we'll have more to say on that. But I want your brief thoughts about the assassination portion of this.
The assassination portion is an insane argument made by someone who thinks he can get away with it. He thinks he can get away with it because he's in front of a wildly conservative Supreme Court. Like it's a crazy thing. Like Potter Stewart famously said in the obscenity case before the Supreme Court, when it comes to pornography, I know it when I see it. That's something we all really identify with. Like, what is a coup? I know it when I see it. Should the president be able to just do anything they want and be immune from prosecution? No. Baked into the argument from Trump's lawyers at the previous hearings in a lower court was this idea that there is a way to convict him. It's just going through an impeachment hearing. But none of that. You'd have to be impeached and then out of office, and then once he's out of office, maybe those things. But that's a completely different process. And the Trump's defense guy has gotten out, kind of bypassed all the problems. What they're all trying to do right now is delay. The scaredy cat justices are trying to delay. Trump is trying to delay until after the election because this is a federal case. And if Trump wins the presidency, then he will be able to pardon himself and none of this will matter.
Yeah, 100%. There's so much about this that is just so fundamentally fake. And we totally get why Trump is engaging in the fakery, the buffoonery and all that. We get why his legal team is doing that. We get why Jesse Waters is doing that. And we're gonna show you some of other Fox News people doing that. We get all of that. None of that should be surprising. And indeed, perhaps even this last group shouldn't be surprising, but I think it should still be noted. The Supreme Court should not be playing ball with this insanity. And they are. The Supreme Court might or might not be so utterly corrupt that they will give Trump legally what he wants, but they've already given him what he wants. And they knew when they took this up that that's what they were doing. Okay, and thus it's on the media to make sure that everyone understands it. Obviously, the media has a lot to do to let people know about the stakes in this election. The Supreme Court obviously is one of those stakes, but this is just another one of the massive reminders that it's not even like how the stakes in the Supreme Court used to be important, because this Supreme Court has no shackles left. No precedent will hold them, no philosophy, no prior statements. Nothing will hold them. They do literally whatever they want, and they're doing it right now.